You rejoin us at our roadside campsite, above the Peace Park in Gotemba. We were extremely lucky to enjoy a dynamic sunrise, with the clouds from yesterday burning off to a beautiful spring day. Despite the road being closed to vehicles with a barrier, we weren't sure if the road could be used by walkers or other cyclists. As much as we wanted to appreciate our surroundings, we quickly packed down camp in the brisk shade and made our way into town, to the park we scattered last night, for a spot of breakfast in the warm sun. Sunny days really go a long way in lifting the spirits, and spectacular views help a lot as well.
It was quite something to have breakfast with a perfect view of Mt Fuji in the distance.
I must have been distracted because I got a pretty nasty burn picking up the gas burner too soon after cooking. A good lesson to learn. But before long, it was time to keep riding. Today would take us back out to the coast and to the historic post town on the old Tokaido route called Canberra. And no, it's not at all related to the Australian capital.
Despite today's weather, the forecast was for rain tomorrow, so we made the call to stay 2 nights at a cute little hostel, so as not to repeat a dreadful slog in the rain again.
It was a real treat to wind our way down the gentle sloping volcanic fields of Shizuoka Prefecture to the coast, savouring every view we could before the magnificence of Fuji disappeared forever. These smaller roads were delightful to cycle along, with very little traffic, but still in excellent condition and offering plenty of local sights, scents and sounds.
The most exciting aspects of cycle touring is you never truly know what you'll come across. This beautiful park in the town of Susanoo was an unexpected gem, and despite the obstacle of a pedestrian flyover, we followed the river down towards a location we did know about before the trip, Ayutsubo Falls. Due to some construction we got a bit confused and first approached it from the wrong vantage point.
There's a park down there. So we just go around in... Yeah, alright.
But after consulting the map, we re-emerged downstream of the falls, where a bridge provides a great view of the volcanic watercourse.
A lot is said about how Japanese society exists in harmony with nature. While this isn't always evident on certain rivers which have been heavily modified for flood mitigation, it's nice to see the waterfall has largely been kept natural, despite some quite dense development surrounding it. Oh, goodness me! I don't think this is where it used to be. Surely it was moved. You never know what you'll see cycling in Japan. One moment there's a whole lot of minis, and then quite possibly the tallest, smallest golden arches we've ever seen.
The infrastructure improved as we entered the outskirts of Numazu, a coastal town at the eastern end of Sugura Bay. It didn't have a lot of character, but it made up for that in good bicycle lanes. Keen to reach the sea, we followed a main road west until we turned down through a residential area and a park, to be met by a gigantic wall.
we've made it back to the ocean, which is behind this giant seawall. And we've actually got two options, I think. We can either ride along the seawall, or there's a track through the trees in the shade in the forest if you want to take that option. Not sure where it goes, how far it goes, condition of the track, but it could be more pleasant than on the seawall.
Let's see if there's signs saying
Okay. Fortunately for us, cycling was permitted on the wall. After all, I don't see why it wouldn't be. So we made our way up and onto a stress-free highway taking us 6 kilometers along the seaside. You don't get as much of an intimate experience of the local areas riding on paths like this, but it sure is easy and efficient. The coastal views were great, and we even got to see some wildlife.
Due to seawall construction, we were diverted off onto the main coastal road for about 1 kilometre. Cyclists were well accommodated for, with a separated lane through the tightest section, very different to how bike lanes are treated during roadworks back in New Zealand. We took the diversion opportunity to ride through some of the coastal forest before making our way back to the seawall.
Beach golf, anyone? After riding the 6 kilometers, we turned back inland with the intention of visiting a very specific location.
The challenge about trying to avoid main roads is that sometimes we found ourselves in very strange areas, like these service roads that seem almost abandoned.
The location I was hoping to visit was a particular farmland lane, one that I had immense satisfaction finding on Google Street View one day after seeing a photo I wanted to take myself. The quintessential view of a Shinkansen speeding across the countryside with Mt Fuji in the background. We had a quick refuel in one of the only family marts we even saw on today's ride, and then it was back out into the countryside. If you're interested in visiting the same place, this is where you'll find it. I probably spent a bit too long here composing different images while waiting for the trains to come by, and hoping some of the clouds around Mt Fuji would burn off. Fortunately, the regular schedule in Japan made it super easy to nail the shot, with a train passing by roughly every 8 minutes, which is unbelievable. Gwen was on the lookout, telling me the moment one came into view. I was really happy with the results, and very pleased we made the diversion. It soon became apparent we'd again be pushing for time, with the sun setting fast and 15 kilometers still yet to ride. It's a shame this time of day is usually spent cycling, when it often affords the most impressive light for photos. But it still looks nice in the video. The most direct route back to the seawall took us through an industrial area, which would have been pretty drab if it wasn't for Mt Fuji looking amazing in the background. Little lackluster in terms of scenery, but you still have Mt Fuji behind you.
Once the seawall ended, we were funneled into a choke point with the main highway, National Route 1. With the sun almost set and our stomachs rumbling, we needed both distance and food. so we decided to just follow the highway and stop at the next place we saw. Fortunately, it was quite an interesting option.
We're at our first Michi no Eki, which is like a roadside station, and this one is Fuji. It's up there in the background looking magnificent. This Michi no Eki has a delightful soba menu, and it's got some like whitebait soba. So we're gonna get some of this as a bit of a celebration of New Zealand and Japan fusion. And this one I think is the one. Whitebait soba and katsudon. Let's get it. 150, 10. And then you press the button. Woohoo! Oh, it's gonna get shaken up. Oh my goodness, it's jammed. Oh, there we go. Delicious.
That's what I'm about.
Here we go, our katsudon and presumably whitebait soba. Gwen's already had a little taste and says it's delicious.
Very good.
We're going to eat this and then head over the river to our hostel for the night. So we'll catch her on the road. I think we underestimated how mentally challenging it becomes being outside cycling all day for multiple days straight. And by all day I mean until dark. If we wanted to have shorter days, it meant we needed to cover less distance each day, ride faster, or see fewer points of interest, none of which felt right for us. We were still finding our rhythm, but maybe for us, long days were our rhythm, for better or for worse. This is a crazy huge seawall protecting all these houses. We're just riding along it. It's so big. It's a campground. Oh, either. It's very sweet though. Night was well and truly upon us as we rode down the old Tokaido towards our accommodation. Whilst it had been exciting camping the last 2 nights, we were very much looking forward to spending the next 2 relaxing with some creature comforts. We've just got to our backpackers accommodation for the night. It's called Subamen Yado. And it's a lovely backpackers hostel in Fujikawa. And we're going to find the owner because he runs a candy shop and apparently that's where he is. So we're going to have a look around and see if we can find him. Our room was perfect, with a bunk, a desk for editing, and space for all our bike bags. But that's all for today. It's been the longest ride of our trip so far, just over 65 k's, all downhill, which was a pleasure, and it was heaps of fun. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. Remember, like and subscribe if you're enjoying it, and we'll catch you at the next one.